Hey guys, so I wanted to talk to you about why Satan trying to equate himself to God, you know, because since inception, since the creation of humans or humanity, you know, he's been nothing but a pain, you know. He wanted to hijack, or literally did hijacked, you know, humanity or people that God created to worship him by creating these false names and false religions globally and stuff. He copies cat. He's a copycat. He always trying to imitate God. You know, he's an imitator, literally. You know, even he hide himself within uh, even planetary system. He put himself there in a planetary system. He created names to lead people astray, to make people believe that you actually, when you invoke in this planet energy of that planet, you're actually getting, you know, the true planet that God created. But he created names, and his kids who are running the show in Earth, who okay, let's back, you know, a little bit. When God kicked, you know, God kicked Adam and Eve from the garden, and they descended to here, to Earth, and God says to Satan also, "Ukhruj minha," you know, he says he kicked him out as well. And guess where Satan is? Satan is in Earth. Satan is in Earth. He was thrown in here, in this planet. Okay? He thrown into Earth. You understand? And since he fell here, he was shackled. He was shackled by Raphael. He was shackled by one angel brought him. He put shackle on him. You know? And he, since then, it's been nothing but a pain. He always, he put people to govern the earth, okay? His own people. So these people are actually running the show. They're not really the true rulers. They don't rule the earth. They do what they're told. Okay, when the Zionist Jew says, we receive order from the planets, from a planet, not many planets, one. They receive orders from Baal, Jupiter, you know, Zeus, Jesus, Satan. All this are all creation of him. He created all this astrology, and he created women wearing makeup, the art of weaponry. That's the same, you know, Azazel. You think of it, he's the same one, you know. He goes by many names. You know why? Because God of creation, the true God. Okay, I don't want to use that word God too. God is Gadriel. Gadriel is the same. The universal creator, the one who exists outside of creation. You know? The maker. The infinite, okay? That's what I'm talking about. The true one, you know? That he imitate that creator, the true divinity, and he imitated him so he went on and create all these false names to offset each aspect of the true creator. Basically, he created a name embodying light, darkness, and all of that is all his emanation. You know, he's jinn. You know what I'm saying? He's smokeless fire, electricity. It's him. You know, and yeah. So everything that is about God, he always created a name or a deity or whatnot to remove. You know, when people are actually praying for the true maker of the universe, and he have created names where you're actually invoking him. When you're calling these names, you are invoking, you're not invoking the infinite. You are invoking him. He's the fourth light. A smokeless fire, jinn, electricity, whatever. Because there is electricity in the human body. The first spark of creation that comes from Adam. That God, you know, when God created humanity from one man. You know? So he hijacked the neurons, because the neurons are the true lights, the neurons of the creator that comes in Adam, our father Adam, is the prophet Adam. He hijacked that. He hijacked the true light and replaced it with a false light by creating false deities and false prophets to hijack. When you call those names, but you have to understand it. You know, he's very crafty. He even was allowed. He was allowed to try to deceive Yeshua. You know, he was allowed. But given that, you know, he was given, you know, it's a test. You know, it's God testing Yeshua as well, because Yeshua is not God. He's a prophet as well. And if you notice, just go online. You don't have to listen to what I'm saying, you know, and, you know, believe everything. Go online and look up. List the house of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Mary, Yeshua, Solomon, Moses, all of that. Just look up online where all these prophets were tested. Were they tested? All of them were they tested. God allowed him to test, you know, accusing us. He's an accuser because he can accuse you of many things, you know, and he's allowed to accuse you, you know what I'm saying, into judgment day where he's gonna stand up in heaven and God is gonna reside on the juror. He's the judge, you know, and that's what's that's what he does. He's allowed, he was given permission to accuse you. But so anyhow, all the prophets were all tested. You know, Abraham was thrown on a fire. Prophet Muhammad, he was rocked before, and he was chased around the earth. Solomon, you know, Solomon went to war, and he had the kingdom of jinn. The kingdom of jinn go after Solomon. You know, that's why God given the power and divinity to Solomon to control the jinn. You know why? Because to say that God has the final say. So In the whole Quran, God talks about لا كفر سليمان ولكن الشياطين كفروا. What does that mean? It means the jinn, kufr. You know what kufr is? When you do a sinful thing under God's eye, when you do something very sinful, and under God's eyes, that God find that very offensive. You know, He find what you've done is very offensive. But yet, now you go online, you search, they say, oh, Solomon did something offended God. And then the Holy Quran was the final book, which is the ending to the one book. It's the ending to one book. Yeah, the books has different chapters. The Torah, Zabur, Injil, which is Bible, and Holy Quran is one book. It's just divided between nations. Okay? You never thought about that, right? You never thought it's actually one book. It was divided between nations, right? Yeah. It's like, think of it, chapter 1, chapter 2, up to 4, right? That's the one book that came in chapters, And then God corrected that when He said Solomon did not sin, but Satan's shayateen or Satan's kafaru. That means the Satans have sinned. The Satans. It's not one. By the way, guys, a lot of people do not know. There's one more. Everybody think it's like one Satan. When you say Satan, you think it's just one. In Holy Quran, it set the record straight. It says shayateen. That means it's plural. It's one more than one. Okay? More than one. Okay? Yeah, yes, they have their leader, forefather, whatnot, who's running the show in Earth now, creating havocs. He's in a lot of movies too. It's for you, for the eyes to see and ears to hear. If you don't want to see it, you won't see it. But if you are open to what they're telling you in their movies and TV shows, you'll see who's, a lot of TV shows, I've been talking about this, a lot of TV shows and movies are talking about him, but they never really give you a definite answers. Iblis is one, Satan, Azazel. It's like a lot of names, that because I told you why he created names. He created false names to lead people astray. Because he said to God, when God kicked him after he misled Adam and Eve, in earth, in heaven, in what you call it, the Garden of Eden, he was kicked out, So anyhow, he ended up having children. He ended up having children with Eve. Cain bloodline is Satan bloodline, Azazel bloodline, the jinn, the kingdom of jinn. And God, how God, I'll tell you something about God. God doesn't like to intervene how humanity live their life, because if he intervenes all the time, he's breaking the laws. Obviously God can break the laws, but because he set the rules, he doesn't want to undo what he said not to do. You understand? So that's what this is, reality of God. This is how God is. Yes, God will intervene. He will go back for you. You know, when he think you're a good person, you know, he think you're a wholesome person, you know what I'm saying? God will bat for you, you know? But you have to do things. He just, you know, God is not gonna bat for you. You do nothing. You do absolutely all horrendous things in life, and then expect God to bat for you. Yeah, do not hold your breath, guys. Do not hold your breath. If you think God is gonna bat for you every time you pray, no. You have to do a lot more. You have to stand. You have to stand for everything what God stands for. You know, being, for example, being first of all aligning with God. You know, being in God's team. Being a defender against oppressions, being basically you stand for everything. I'm trying to think on top of my head what's, you know, the list is a number of things, but just okay, you stand for a lot of things that is written in universal laws, you know. That's what you stand for, you know. And even though sometimes you may not be perfect, you know, in that order, you're not following God to the T, because yeah, we all have our, you know, mishaps or problems or whatnot, and God doesn't judge you like that, you know. He judges you when you try to quit. He judge you because, oh, you tried to quit. You know, I'm just gonna reward you because you put in an effort into this, even though you're struggling with it. You know, he knows you struggle with things. Nobody's perfect. You know, in the Holy Quran, in Islam they teach you don't enter heaven. You don't enter heaven being perfect. You enter heaven only with the God, with the mercy of the Maker of the universe. If you could be perfect all you want, and the Infinite says no, you're not gonna enter heaven. You want. It's not about perfection. You know, the struggles you deal with in life, you overcome. You know, God will reward you on that. You know, you could be, you could be wicked and you repent, God will reward you. You know what I mean? But does not mean He's going to forgive every sin. Not all sins weighs the same. Not all sins, not all sins weighs the same. You know what I mean? We talked about that. You know, killing people, God forbid shedding of innocent blood. If you kill a bunch of people, highly unlikely you go to heaven, you know. But hey, God is have mercy, you know. But highly unlikely, because the person you killed, you know, there is this negative chords you created by killing that innocent person. Okay, so God doesn't forgive that. You know what I'm saying? You know, stuff like that. But hey, absolutely everything is possible. But I'm just explaining to you, when you do horrible things to people, if that person haven't forgiven it, you know, guess what? You're going to a shopping block. You're going to a shopping block, and you'll be judged for it. Okay? So do not act, oh God Almighty. You know what I mean? Do not equate yourself. You know, you do horrible things and stuff. Like, you know, my targeting, when the targeting, people are targeting me, says to me, we don't care. We don't care, you know? Because they're mad. You know, I'll tell you why they're mad. Because they know deep inside, in the core, they know what you're saying is true. And it started to rub them the wrong way, because you are saying the truth, and they start to fear. When fear happens, then they become like agitated. you know, shouting, telling me we don't care. Well, you don't have to shout to tell me you don't care. You could not care in silence. You don't have to tell me. But you come into my channel, listening to me, talking about things, and you're telling me you don't care. I didn't invite you to come into my channel. I'm gonna continue talking to my channel. You know what I'm saying? You continue to do not care. Don't tell me. But do not shout on my channel, trying to make me feel I have no right to say whatever I was saying. Okay? So you don't have, you have to agree with me. You don't have to. I didn't ask you to come on my channel and tell me you don't care. It's like for you to come and telling me you do not care because you're agitated, because you know what I'm saying is true, and you're mad because I said I'm not gonna forgive. That's the main issue that's rubbing you the wrong way, because you started to have these feelings. You start to have feelings about what you've done. You started to, oh, what did I just do? What did I just do? Put myself in this mess. You start to get feelings of you've done something wrong, because you know what I'm telling you is true. So, yeah, don't tell me you do not care. You know what I mean? You know what? Let's set the record straight. I know you don't care, and I don't care either, but I'm not gonna forgive you. So do not tell me when you do not care, because I'm not gonna stop talking on my channel because you don't care. You understand? Showing me you do not care because trying to silence me or make me feel like I should stop talking. No, I'm gonna continue talking. Okay? What do you think God gave you a mouth for? You know what I'm saying? He gave you a mouth to be silenced because somebody doesn't care. You understand? I don't care, you don't care. I don't care you letting me know you don't care, but I don't care about your feelings. Okay? Anyhow, that's what's going on, guys. When you understand how, I've been at this game for a long time. I know how the enemy operates. I know how the enemy think. And I'm not gonna let anybody have that upper hands on me. You know what I mean? I'm gonna continue talking, and I'm gonna continue explain to you guys 144,000 how to conduct yourself. I'm not perfect, but hey, what I know is enough to guide you toward the right direction. I'm not here to mislead you. I'm not putting a gun in your head telling you you must follow me or else. No. And yeah, you have free will, guys. You can decide what works for you, right? But they're closed. I came to the store. To get injera, like Ethiopian bread, injera, and they're closed. You see? That's the one over there. No, it's not the barber shop. It's this one. It's this one. You see? Abdul Supermarket. Anyhow, I walk all this way and it's closed. Can you believe that? Anyhow, it's okay. I can eat something else. Rice, bread. I don't have to eat, Ethiopian injera. You know what I mean? Tomorrow on a different day. But anyhow, to get back to the people who, shouting. Okay, another thing that also agitate me, which is people, when I'm creating prayers to defend my sovereignty that God giving, the maker of the universe giving me, God giving me this, you know what I mean? Freedom. I'm not gonna allow people to intrude and come into my life and trying to bestow fear or their belief on me or telling me what I should not be saying or what I should be saying and stuff like that. No, it doesn't work like that, boo-boo. Boo-boo, it doesn't work like that. You do you and I'll do me. But rest assured, I will not be silenced. Okay? Okay? If you get in some sort of feeling, you need to get over your feelings, because I don't care about your feelings either. So for you trying to tell me like you do not care, you know. The other thing that I rubbing me the wrong way is people in my building. When I create prayers in my building, I'm creating them in silence. I don't sit there and shout, slam doors, windows, moving furniture, you know, attacking me with all this stuff, you know, in my apartment because you do not like what I'm creating, you know, and you do not care about what I'm creating, you know. I don't do it and I slam doors, windows, and I do it in silence. I never slam doors unless I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed. I am to blame for slamming kitchen doors, main door, the kitchen drawers and the main door a couple of times, the bathroom door. Yes, because I was annoyed. Because I'm just waking up and people are slamming, because when I wake up, I start creating right away. Because when I'm asleep, I'm asleep. When I'm asleep, they have their vengeance and attacks happens when I'm asleep. Just, a bunch of them. How many people are attacking me at the same time? How is this fair of a war to attack one person when there are many of you? You understand? You're just showing how coward you are. Anyhow, so that was going on. Attacking me when I'm asleep, At least I'm not a coward. And I don't throw a hissy fit. I get all annoyed and slam doors and doing this and making all these rackets and a noise campaign and whatnot. I do it in silence. When I create prayers, I sit there and think what I'm gonna create. I think about creating prayer before I create it, because this is what I want. I want, we have something in common. Satan and I, we have something in common. The accuser have something, the destroyer, we have something in common. Could you guys guess that what it is? I create prayer, my main goal to destroy him, to destroy the enemy. You know what I'm saying? I like to destroy too, but within God laws, within God laws, I just destroy what you're sending me. Don't send me this energy. Do not send me this energy. I don't want your energy you keep sending me because I don't want your energy. I don't like your energy. I don't like Satan energy. The jinn energy is not my energy, That's why when you send it to me, it rub me like the wrong way. It make me really agitated because he's opposite. He's the opposite. The serpent race, they are the jinn kingdom. Their energy is opposite from from humans. The energy is smokeless fire, darkness, and electricity and plasma, whatever. That's what I've been learning. Their energy is completely opposite of my energy. So when they send me the opposite what I am. If they send me like energy that emanates with my spark of creation, you think that's gonna hurt me? That's gonna empower me. But they send me something dark. They send me something dark that is opposite from who I am. If they send me like love and light, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't exist with love and light. There are 666, 7 chakra, which is the heart, is not them. The 7 chakra is not, because there are 6. We are the 7 and 9. They are not the opposite. 15 or whatnot. There's 15 chakras. But anyhow, they are the opposite. And So they're quite opposite. So they send you something completely opposite because they have the manual. These people, all these witches and wizards, they don't know anything. They just given. When you enroll in this program, you were given a manual. What kind of prayers agitate this? The bloodline of the prophets. What kind of prayers that or energy that agitate them? So that you have to do these prayers to agitate that person. Because when I send them love, energy, and light, the true, this first spark, of Adam and whatnot, and they don't like that because this is the opposite of what they are. You know what I'm saying? They are the kingdom of jinn. All these people are using dark energies. Okay? God has dark energy too, but not that Satan has. Satan is still like jinn, Anyhow, there is a dark energy God has, but not the one Satan sent me. You know what I'm saying? It's not, But they come in through your shadow self. Your shadow self, the shadow of God, that way they come in. Because the shadow is usually a reflection of your true self, but it's dark. That's how they come into your chakra system, through your shadow self. When you understand that, how the enemy operates, they have to come through the dark side of the soul. That's what they do. Anyhow, hope this helped. What I'm telling you is really resonate well with you. It makes sense to you what I'm trying to tell you, And I hope it makes sense to you, because this is what I'm trying to explain. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. He just walked behind me, slowing down to hear what I'm saying. Yeah. Anyhow, that's what I'm want to. What? And I wish that people do not make a lot of noise. Make prayers like me in silence. When I create these prayers, and I'm, using these prayers, do not scream telling me that you don't like the light you're getting. You don't like the love I'm sending you. You know what I'm saying? Do not scream and stomp and, do not. Okay? Do it in silence. If you do it in silence, I'll be happy. But you don't like it. You like to dish it, but you don't like to take it. You like to dish it, but you don't like it. When people are sending you light, sending you opposite what you are. When you send it to me, you don't see me screaming in my apartment. You don't see me like, oh, please stop. You don't see me doing that. I do it in silence. Anyhow, guys, I'm not telling you 144,000 to be evil. Hey, I'm learning on the job. Okay? I don't know. This is not my specialty. To sit there, break down witchcraft, to learn about how to manipulate energy and... No, I'm just sending back what I do not like. Don't send me, do it in silence, guys. And yeah, do it in silence. Do not send me, and start crying about it. Do not try to cry about it and stomp around and be a man. Take it in silence, like me. You know what I mean? I've been doing all of that. I'm always agitated when you people make a lot of noise, because I ask myself, I ask myself, why can't you be silent like me? Why can't you be doing things in silence like me? Why you, yeah, why you crying about it when you are like sending me this day and night? Have these people on a payroll, people working around shift, clockwork, when he's sleeping, you're gonna be on duty, guys. When he's sleeping, you guys gonna be on duty. Do as much destructive things to him. And then they have other ones working on an awake. They even have people on different time zones, because they see you. They use this camera hidden in your apartment and to watch you, and so they get you and you at your weakest. When you sleep you are at your weakest. Your defense are down, and that why witching hour is usually around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning on, because they work when you are weakest. They're not. If you're not a coward, what are you? Why are you working on somebody when they're at your weakest? Work on somebody when he's awake. If you're not a coward, what are you? Can you explain to me? If you're not a coward, what are you?